Recent statements from Iran's foreign minister, Saeed Abbas Araghchi, reveal that Iran is prepared to continue its military actions as long as necessary. Speaking to a U.S. broadcaster, Araghchi emphasized that negotiations with the United States are no longer on the table, especially amid ongoing hostilities. He highlighted that Iran has refused requests for a ceasefire from several countries, including France, Russia, and China. Araghchi clarified that Iran remains in contact with various nations, both Islamic and non-Islamic, and that some of these countries are actively seeking to mediate or urge a halt to the conflict. However, he made it clear that the decision to end the war ultimately rests with Iran itself, asserting that Iran was the one who initiated the aggression through armed attacks. He emphasized that the Islamic Republic will only cease its military operations once there are guarantees that such aggressive acts will not recur and that Iran bears full responsibility for its actions. The foreign minister pointed out that Iran currently holds the upper hand in the conflict. He argued that Iran inflicted significant losses on its adversaries, including Israel, the United States, and their allies, noting the economic and energy repercussions faced by the opposing side. Iran's military successes have been perceived as devastating blows, and Araghchi claimed that the war's conclusion depends solely on Iran's decision. Meanwhile, former U.S. President Donald Trump has made optimistic remarks about the prospects of ending the conflict. He claimed that the war in the Middle East would be over very soon, suggesting that much of Iran's military leadership has been neutralized. Trump stated that Iran's leadership had been significantly weakened, with many top figures no longer in power, and that the U.S. had achieved a decisive victory.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Iran, you called it an excursion. You said it would be over soon. Are you thinking this week it will be over?
No,
Are you talking
but soon.
about days?
I think soon.
Okay, and with respect
Very soon. Look, everything they have is gone, including their leadership. In fact, there are two levels of leadership, and even actually, as it turns out, more than that. But two levels of leadership are gone. Most people have never even heard about the leaders that they're talking about. So it's obviously been very powerful, very effective. We're winning very decisively. We're way ahead of schedule. Our military is the greatest in the world, with the greatest equipment and the greatest people in the world. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Iran's a very powerful country. They were going to take over the Middle East. If we did not hit them, they were going to take over the Middle East. They had thousands and thousands since their last hit. They had thousands and thousands of missiles and everything else. Most are now destroyed. But they were going to take over the Middle East. Those weapons were aimed at Middle Eastern countries that had nothing to do with this. They were going to take over the Middle East, and they were going to try and destroy Israel. So we stopped it with good timing, and we're very proud to be involved in this, and it's going to be ended soon. And if it starts up again, they'll be hit even harder.
You promised the Iranian people you would help them, but it sounds like you're willing to end this fight after your military objectives have wrapped up. Isn't that a betrayal of the people?
Will I help them?
Betrayal of
Will
the
I help
people?
them? I'd like to, if they can behave. But they've been very menacing. You know, they're great people. They have an amazing population. It's amazing, smart, brilliant, energetic. They have a great, I'd love to help them, but they have to be in a system that allows them to be helped. And right now they're in a system that only allows failure. And I don't want that. And I want a system that's not going to be attacking us. We want a system that can lead to many years of peace.
Despite these claims, Iran's military responded critically to Trump's assertions, asserting that his portrayal of victory was exaggerated and that the situation remains complex. Reports from the Wall Street Journal indicate that Trump's advisors have privately urged him to consider withdrawing from the conflict, citing concerns over rising oil prices and political repercussions at home. These internal discussions reveal a possible shift in strategy, with some officials questioning the sustainability of ongoing military engagement. Trump has publicly claimed that the U.S. military has largely achieved its objectives, asserting that they are winning decisively and that Iran was planning to take over the Middle East and threaten Israel before U.S. intervention. He emphasized that the U.S. stopped Iran's plans and expressed confidence that future conflicts would result in even harsher responses if Iran continues its aggression. There are indications that the U.S. administration is also contemplating a strategic exit. According to reports, some officials believe that the U.S. should articulate an exit plan, especially as public opinion polls show rising opposition to the war among Americans. Oil prices, which spiked over $100 a barrel, have further complicated matters, raising economic concerns. Furthermore, there are ongoing rumors that Trump has considered more aggressive options, including targeting Iran's supreme leader, Mojahi Khamenei, if Iran refuses to comply with U.S. demands. This has sparked fears of an escalation and prolongation of the conflict. Meanwhile, Trump's advisors are debating how best to frame the U.S.'s military achievements publicly, with some advocating for a clear exit and others warning about the political fallout of a prolonged war. Iran is asserting its readiness to continue fighting until it perceives its security guarantees are met, while the U.S. is internally debating whether to escalate further or seek an exit.